Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Come on in the room. We are excited to see you guys as we do our sermon recap for the week. Father, help me not to forget. Come on in the
Yes.
room from Matthew chapter number 18, verses 23 through 35. We want y'all to come on in. We got something we need to talk about.
Mm.
Forgiveness. Popular topic of forgiveness. Yes, and we're excited. And so, Pastor Steele, we had an amazing service on Sunday. The Lord has been working and dealing with us through lessons and accelerated learning through the parables.
Yes.
And He drops this gem on us Sunday, giving us the example of what it means to forgive, the impact of forgiveness, and how we have to make that one of the staples of our faith. I think sometimes we talk about a whole lot of other stuff in our religion, but as it relates to forgiveness, we kind of gloss over it because it can be such a sensitive topic. Some people are really going through some major hurt, some major trauma has happened to them, and here the preacher stands and said, listen, in order for you to be forgiven by your Father in heaven, you likewise have to forgive first. And so I had a lot of fun on Sunday digging in the parables. And I'll be honest with y'all, just like y'all are feeling it in the congregation, I'm also feeling it when I'm having to go through my study and meditation time with the Lord. So we're all on the same sheet of music, Pastor Steele, and I'm ready to jump into our recap.
Okay. You just mentioned something in regards to the recap that I was going to bring up about Sunday's sermon. Father, help me not to forget. And it's a very humbling title, a statement that's saying, God, I need you. God,
Hmm.
keep me in a certain mindset. And so, an awesome title for that sermon in Matthew chapter 18, 23 through 35. And many of those that are watching the Sunday sermon recap, if you missed that message, make sure you go to the YouTube channel Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church and go subscribe and click on the live tab, and you can go back and watch this sermon that we're talking about. I've watched it at least twice so far myself. But you talked about basically self reflection.
Hmm.
And I remember you mentioning it in the beginning of the sermon of in order for you to preach about forgiveness, you had to self-reflect yourself. And when it comes to that, it shows us that the word that we read, that we look at, we should always look and see, how does it apply to me? It's so easy to read something and say, "Ooh, somebody else needs to hear this," or somebody else needs to read this. But I like how you in teaching forgiveness says it starts with you first. Very,
Right.
very powerful.
Right, it is, and it should always be that whenever we stand to preach, right, that we are making sure we are doers of the very thing that we give other people. And so I had to take that moment and take an inward look, ask the Lord to search my heart. There be
Mm,
anything that's not like Him, or if I was harboring unforgiveness or bitterness toward anybody, let's deal with this first. Because what I didn't want to do was get up and begin to talk about this parable from Matthew chapter number 18 that's talking about the kingdom of heaven and talked about a king and his servants. And I didn't want to be the servant in the text that was referred to as the wicked servant. And so first, yes, it does start with us. We have to make sure we're being transparent. And the at the end of the day, y'all, is good news. He searched my heart and I was free and I was happy that I was not found with unforgiveness in my heart.
and I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm so sorry, but you hit the second point that I was going to ask you because in the message, that was one of your phrases. It said, you said you must search your heart. And I was going to ask you, how would you advise someone to search their heart? Like they hear the
Hmm.
phrase, and we kind of have an understanding of what that means when you're talking about unforgiveness. And there may be some things that people are tuning in and they didn't even realize that they've never forgiven somebody for. How do you properly, effectively assert your heart to make sure you've examined everything?
Hmm. Well, Pastor Steele, it starts with making sure you're not your own measuring tool. And when I say that, that you're not the one setting the standards to see if
Mm,
you are measuring up. We know that the word of God is the tool. It is the thing that we use to measure and gauge how well we are doing on our Christian walk. So one of the first things I start doing is just sitting back and reflecting and remembering. I will start to
mm,
ask myself questions. Sometimes I'll go back over past hurt. Hey, did you process that well? Are you able to sit in a room with this person now and not feel some type of way? Are you losing sleep at night over past situations? And so then, if I have any inkling of a yeah, maybe, then I go back and say, okay, God, why am I still here? What about that situation or circumstance that I did not process well? Help me to give these things to you. He tells us, cast your cares upon him. Help
yeah.
me not to carry the burden of whether or not somebody deserves forgiveness or not. And so I have my own set of personal questions that I'll go through to make sure that I am not found in the place that I'm trying to preach to others about.
That is so good because I like the whole application of it, of not
Oh,
just
yeah.
hearing it and hearing a phrase, but now there's some application to it. And
Mm-hmm.
my question to those that are tuning in and listening as we do a Sunday sermon recap of Father, help me not to forget, when we
Mm-hmm.
do this recap, I want to hear people's thoughts. Have you ever searched your heart? In that comment section, write down if you searched your heart or not. I think there's probably a heart emoji in there. If you search your heart, put that heart emoji in there. And what did you find when you searched your heart? Did you find
Mm-hmm.
some forgiveness there? And so, as we go through this and you are telling and teaching us how to search our heart, that was one of the powerful things about the word on Sunday is it was preached, and you all have to go back and listen to this for yourself. It was preached, but you preached it like a call to action.
Oh, yeah.
That's what made it so powerful because we understood that forgiveness frees you from bondage.
Mm-hmm.
It when you're willing to forgive, it frees you from bondage. And so it wasn't just a statement of this is what happens, but the sermon and the way it was preached was you need to do this now.
Right.
Don't think about tomorrow. Yes.
We dealt with the head, we dealt with the heart, and we dealt with that hand, that plan of action that you talked about. And one of the things I got to add to the previous question you just posed is make sure you're not the only one doing the searching. Psalm
Mm,
139 tells us, search our hearts, O Lord. We give him access. We give God permission. We're inviting the Father to come in because see sometimes you can send a kid into the room to look for something that you know is there and they look for it
mhm.
and they have all this trouble. They can't find it. And we say, don't make me get up because if I get up and I find it, that's how God does. Because if he gets up, he is going to find what it is that's not right. And so not only do you do your own personal assessment, Pastor Steele, I gotta add that you invite the Father in as well, that he do the searching also. So I did miss that little piece and I wanted to go back and grab that.
Definitely. Feel free to grab whatever you need to grab. And
Yeah.
so in that Sunday sermon, of course, a lot of us, our toes were stepped on in a good way, in a positive way. But what I like about the story is when we look at what I call the unmitigated gall of this servant, this guy, yeah, unmitigated gall, unmitigated, that's about five
Uh-huh.
syllables. When I look at that, what was interesting is he was forgiven
Yes.
of a great debt,
Mm-hmm.
large. And you all have to go back and look at it, and you've dealt with the size of it and the amount and how it compares to today's amount of money. But there was somebody that owed him money, and he had the unmitigated gall to be aggressive with them and be unforgiving to someone after he was just forgiven. And I just thought about that thing because we as saints have to be careful
Mm-hmm.
because we will look at certain people and say, "Oh, who are they? Oh, they don't deserve this. They don't deserve that." And we forget how many times and the things that God has forgiven us that we didn't deserve forgiveness for, but God had grace and mercy on us. And so that message teaches us how we should treat other people.
Right. And the whole message was, Lord, help me not to forget. Don't let me fall back on my memory bank when it comes to all of the many times that you talked about that God has to forgive us. And that one fact alone will keep us from being
Yeah.
so judgmental. It was like the very heart of God. I could hear his grief toward how we treat other people. And
Yeah.
so, even though that message did catch a lot of us and stepped on some toes, I believe the very heart of God was coming across saying, hey, listen, come on, don't act like you have not been a recipient of this same grace, a
Yes.
recipient of the same forgiveness. And then, if we keep that in the forefront, as mentioned all throughout the sermon, we won't have time to worry about other people. You'll remember what God has done for you, and you'll be less likely to not try to get aggressive like that servant did. Y'all got to go read it. Y'all say the
Mm.
Bible is boring. No, I want y'all to go read it. Check it out.
Yeah.
He's forgiven for an astronomical amount of debt. He
Yeah.
leaves out of the place. He go look for one of his servants, and the text says that he laid hands on him. I said,
Mm.
oh, here we go. Here is the drama. Not
And
only
not
did
in a
he,
holy way.
yeah, it wasn't no holy laying on of hands, right? He laid hands on him. And after he beat him, the text says he grabbed the man by his throat, saying, I'm demanding you. You're going to pay me what you owe
Mm.
me. And isn't it strange, though, we can look at this guy's behavior and say, what you say, the unmitigated gall to do so?
Unmitigated gall.
And the whole time, guess who also does it? We
Mm.
do the same exact thing. While the king was merciful with him, he falls to the king's feet. He begs for forgiveness, even claiming, I'll pay you
Mm.
back everything I owe you. But yet, when someone else was in debt to him, he all of a sudden forgot all about the grace that he had been extended.
That's the beautiful part about how we're going over these parables in the month of August, and we're going through parables on Sunday. We're going through the different parables in the Bible on Wednesday night Bible study. Guys, you will have to tune in to Wednesday night Bible study at 7 p.m. If you're online, make sure you tune in online to the parable study that we're doing during Bible study. If you can't make it into the service, but on the Wednesday night Bible study services as well. And so I looked at his actions, and these parables are teaching us through
Hmm.
the stories that sometimes we might be the people in the stories if we don't examine ourselves, if we're not careful. The parable teaches you and puts you back in line and gets your mind back focused. And I remember another part of your message. It was so powerful because you said how people can be saying this or saying that about this person or that person. And you said sometimes you only have enough energy to worry about
Yes,
yourself.
sir.
What
That's
do you
it.
mean by that when you say that?
Because sometimes we extend or we give so much attention and energy to things that are so useless, and then when it's time to fight our own battles, when it's
Mm,
time to go into prayer for ourselves, to pray for our family, you've expended so much energy in things that don't matter or don't have any impact on your life that you don't have any energy to fight for yourself. And so, my objective at the beginning of the day is, Lord, give me enough strength, of course, to call me to do what you've called me to do. But I need to have enough strength to know if I got to go down and fall on my knees and face for myself, that
yeah.
I've got strength to do that. If I keep that in mind, then I can put on these blinders. Like, I don't even have time to worry about Pastor Sid, what you got going on over there. I got to say, Lord, help me to keep my own mouth closed instead of worrying about what you got coming out of yours. Lord, help me to keep my thoughts toward people together. Let's not talk about the actions that we can't see. Lord, help me to regulate my mind day to day. And if I give all of that energy out to every little thing that comes my way, and I've done all these things all day long, and I come upon my own trial, then where do I get the strength to pull from? Where do I get the energy to say, Lord, I need to do me? And in those moments, that's when we fall out. We have no hope now. We just given up on life. No, you hadn't given up. Your
Mm,
energy has been displaced. You got to learn how to hone in and ask yourself the question when things come up, because people will bring you all kind of garbage. Y'all know that. Don't be garbage cans. But when these things come up, I got to ask myself, does this deserve my energy? Should I give place to the enemy here with foolishness? Or can I say, no, that's a God thing. Let God handle it. I
Yeah.
come back in my own lane and I reserve my energy for the moments that matter. I don't know how many of you work out and you exercise. I hope a bunch of y'all can give me a thumbs up in the comment. But you don't want to just blast all your energy out in the first 5 minutes and you know you got an hour or two to walk. That's foolish. You want to make sure you are divvying it out so that you can finish the run, you can finish the walk, you can finish the workout. You don't want to expend all your energy in the wrong spot.
That is so good. And one thing that we learned about forgiveness is it is reciprocating. God
Right,
reciprocates. If we forgive our brothers and sisters, our Heavenly Father will
right.
forgive us as well. And so, as you preach this sermon, and I don't want to go too much further, and you all got to go back and need to go back and listen and watch it for yourself on the
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channel, Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. And we talked about putting away bitterness, malice,
Right.
and being able to treat one another better. At the end of the service, I don't know if you noticed this, but normally we preach during a certain time frame, but
Mm-hmm.
your sermon wasn't the same length as it normally is. So it was a little shorter than normal, but even though it was shorter than normal, the effectiveness at the altar, there were people that came to the altar
Right.
praying to God for forgiveness, to take the unforgiveness from them, and so that
Mm-hmm.
they could take action. And so it was such a powerful word because people got help, people drew closer to God and accepted the call to action to operate in forgiving their brothers and their sisters. And I believe that's what also made the message so special. It resonated to the heart
Mm-hmm.
of people.
Yes, and Pastor Steele, even I would have to say Sunday evening, all the way up until Monday, I had gotten the phone calls that said, Pastor, thank you. Thank you
Mm,
so much for challenging me. Although uncomfortable, thank you for praying for my boldness to attack this thing head on. I had been walking in unforgiveness for years, and it was just something I settled that would never be resolved. And to get those messages and those call back from people to say, Pastor, I did it. I talked to my relative. We had not talked in years, and we ended up being on the phone for 2 hours. My
my God.
relative had been waiting to hear from me as much as I wanted to, reach out to them. And so we had some relationships that were reconciled. We had some that weren't reconciled, but at least the matter was settled. And
Mm,
so whenever we have the word that is preached, and people follow up and actually do the hands-on application, to
yeah.
me, that's the beauty of the gospel. And I will not pretend, my brothers and sisters, that forgiveness is one of the easier things that we do in our faith, because some of you are dealing with some real hurt. Can we just be truthful? I mean, some heavy stuff that may take you a while to get over the hump of, or it may take you a while to say from a pure place, you know what? I have to forgive them for the offense. And so we don't want to pretend that it's easy, but at the same time, we're not going to pretend that it's impossible. With God's help and with His strength leading and guiding, even that thing you deem to be almost impossible, Pastor, how can I forgive them when they did XYZ? God will open your heart. He will begin to work in those places so that you are not bound. And if you find it so difficult, just think back to yourself. All of the times that He's brought you out, all of the time that He's covered you, all of the times that He had open arms and you were able to come freely back to the Father, think on those things to help you process some of your past hurts.
Amen. I am not going to dive deeper into this word. I want them to
That's
go back
good.
and experience it for themselves, Pastor Conyers. And also, if you did watch it once, do like I did. Go back and watch it again. You'll catch some other things, some other nuggets. And so Pastor Conyers came in hot on Sunday for that Sunday sermon recap that we just did right now, guys. Make sure you go back and watch it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We enjoy as you all participate in these Sunday sermon recaps, and feel free to leave your thoughts and comments from hearing the word. How did it impact you? How did it have a personal effect on you when you watch and listen to that word? And so we always want the word to have a positive impact in our lives. So we thank you all for tuning in and being a part of this Sunday sermon recap. And I'm going to turn it back over to Pastor Conyers.
All right, guys, we'll see y'all over on YouTube. We'll see you in Facebook land. And I want y'all to drop some comments in there. Tell us what you've thought about the message once you get the opportunity to go back and watch. As always, we want to see y'all at Bible study midweek. Come on in as we are going to attack again the parables of the lost. That's where we're going to be on Wednesday. We invite you to come join us this upcoming fourth Sunday at church. We want y'all to be relaxed, wear your t-shirts and your jeans. We're dressed down for Sunday. And as well, we want to let everybody know and remind you that there will be a Zoom call for our new ministry called Shine. And it is for all of our exceptional children, supporting, honoring, including, nurturing, and equipping all of our children that attend the ministry with special needs. This is huge because we want to be an inclusive space even for those that have special needs. And so a special Zoom meeting is being held on Sunday, August the 24th at 6 o'clock p.m. There is a QR code that you can sign in. It's been posted on RIM. We'll also get it on our social media outlets. And so if you're interested, go ahead, register so that you can get the link. And that point of contact is our minister in training, Deborah Covington. And we're super excited about this new opportunity here at the ministry. Pastor Steele, that wraps it up.
Yes,
See
it
y'all
does.
in the comments. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Have an amazing day. And we still believe if you do it right,
God will bless it right.
go in peace, my brothers and my sisters.